What up, bitches? Just kidding. Oh, well, I'm live. I'm live. I'm kind of in a giggly mood this morning, just by the sheer fact I'm thinking of. Yeah, Alex Jones is back on X. I mean, I don't know if he's done any posting as of yet, right? And I'm not even suggesting, right? Not like I'm some big giant Alex Jones fan. I mean, the guy's all right, right? You know what I mean? He does his thing. He's at least a fellow traveler in certain aspects in terms of standing up for liberty. You know, there's a few things I would say I disagree with the man, but yeah, it's an impressive thing to see that Elon, he once again, he's sticking true. I know it's a hard line to walk there, Elon, but I'm glad that you're at least doing your best. You're at least doing your best from what I can see and gather in terms of, you know, actually putting to practice, you know, the thoughts that you espouse, you know, right? So you say you defend free speech, and yeah, this is the kind of stuff that really shows that you actually do defend freedom of speech, to bring someone like Alex Jones back on. And for sure, it's gonna piss off some people. And the question that was asked earlier on Twitter, in terms of what about the people who are threatening to leave if Alex Jones gets back on, just like I said on my response, on my reply is, yeah, don't let the door hit you where the good Lord split you. That's my reply. I mean, that's the thing. If you can't handle, it's the thing. It's a social media platform, right? If you don't like Alex Jones, well, here's a thing: don't follow him or block him. Hey, no problem, right? Problem solved. But that's the thing, people. There's so many petty tyrants and control freaks among us, as we're quite aware, right? They don't even care, even if it doesn't affect them at all, or some of these fucking big corporate execs, these woke type progressives, right? I mean, whether he affects you or not. Right? Whether the fact that he exists on the platform or not. How about here's a concept: live and let live. You do you, he does him. Right? I do me. Like it's really fucking simple. But like I say, that concept, no matter how simple it is, it's kryptonite, right? For these fucking control freaks, because if the last thing they will ever do is actual acknowledge their lip or their loss or their grip on power and control. It drives them nuts. And which is why, yeah, good. Glad to see Elon's back. Or I mean, Alex is back. But of course, in addition to that, I mentioned this a while back. I actually even did a live stream. Actually, I can't remember the actual title for that particular live stream, but I talked about Stefan Molyneux then, because actually I remember I was just browsing through Twitter. I think it was still Twitter back then. I don't even think it was X at that point. No, it wasn't. I think it was still Twitter. And I thought, you know, because I still listen to Stefan Molyneux, right? I have to go listen to him at Free Domain or watch his podcast. I watch a lot of them on Locals. I subscribe to him on Locals. You know, I pay to play. Like, I support the man, not just what he has to say and what he does, but actually financially. Now, not by a whole lot of money. I'm not a rich man by any stretch, but yes, I support the man, and I've always known where to find him. And I was actually listening to one of his podcasts yesterday, and he's pointed this out in the past, so it got me to thinking, you know, he's right. How many people? I mean, I did, right? Maybe. Of course, my voice is quite small in comparison, but I kind of agree with him here. Like, where the fuck are all these people to back him up or to say, hey, how about bringing Stefan Molyneux back? I did, right? But where's the chorus of the countless other thousands, tens of thousands, or hundreds of thousands, or ultimately millions? Because the man has had over 1 billion plus views, you know, on his podcast, and been doing this stuff, the philosophy thing, for decades, right? And a lot of people, right, in the liberty movement, or any people that just even want to learn about liberty, have heard of the name Stefan Molyneux. But look, it does seem quite strange and a bit annoying at times that people aren't out there advocating for the reinstatement. Well, actually, he is. Actually, that's one thing I will say. Actually, Stefan Molyneux's account is reinstated, because that's what I did back at the time. I noticed that his account was actually back on Twitter at the time, and I was like, holy shit, his account's back. So I did let him know, and he replied to me. I let him know in an email. I think it was an email, and he replied, or someone, whoever does his stuff or answers his emails or whatever, replied and said, thanks for letting them know. And basically that was it, right? So there wasn't any further interactions. And, you know, maybe someday, you know, I don't know, the man is so busy, I don't know if he'd ever have time And I don't do the call-in things, right? I deal with my own problems kind of in-house. I don't do the kind of call-in things, although, but maybe someday I will get a chance to talk to them, man. But yeah, once again, this whole live stream is about, talking about the fact, and like I say, leading by example. So I will just say, yes, not only do I want to see Stefan Molyneux come back to the platform, but I'm willing to hear and engage with others to see what your folks' ideas or what your opinion or perspective is on the whole Stefan Molyneux. Because here's the one thing I will say, folks, is there is no shortage, as we've seen, right? And I've watched it, I'm observant. Hey, I follow a bunch of them even, right? I'm not hating, but I will say this. The philosophers, the ideas people, which once again, I repeat myself, the philosophers, right? There's very few of them out there, the philosophical minded, right? Have all been basically put at the proverbial back of the bus in lieu of the ones who have taken center stage these days are the political pundit types, right? Now, I'm not talking about the establishment media. I'm talking about those who are in the up and coming, counter media or anti-establishment media or new media, however you want to call or qualify them, right? There are a lot of them, a lot of people that got lots of things to say about the politics, and other people that are astute observers of the legal sphere or part and parcel of the legal sphere, right? That are coming at things from the legal side of things or the constitutional side of things. Actually, I was listening earlier. Bruce Pardy, he's a Canadian constitutional lawyer, and he was at that NCI, the National Commission or the National Citizens Inquiry, as it pertains to the whole COVID-19 response by big government and the media too as well. But the Emergencies Act and all, how the lockdowns, the mandates, and all that stuff. And I got to tell you, folks, this is the problem that I see going forward. Is we're just going to end up, no matter what or how things change, we're basically going to end up in a might be a better status environment, but make no mistake, the kind of people who are espousing the rhetoric or who are playing center stage today and the armchair quarterbacks, right? All the social media influencers, and once again, not hating on them, but if those are the people that dominate the discourse and the conversation rather than the philosophers, well, we're just going to end up in a different kind of statism, right? We're still going to be surrounded by the cult of statism, right? That the religious doctrine is still going to play very heavy into our lives, but there might be some new entrants or participants in statism that may treat you a little bit better, at least for a while, right? I mean, this is a story as old as time. We keep trying to make these actual advancements in terms of liberty and achieving the goals of genuine individual liberty for all, but we keep getting these massive setbacks. And I gotta say and suggest that, listen, hey, do your thing, folks. But once again, all you people out there are enjoying your 15-minute of fame or the limelight. Yeah, come on. Throw your support and advocacy behind the man who is really, as far as I'm concerned, should be the one at the center stage, or those at least at the center stage. And Stefan Molyneux, for sure, I place at the top of the top in terms of the people that we should be able to hear his voice and the kind of perspectives and knowledge that he brings to the table. Because once again, yes, armchair quarterbacking, right? And political rhetoric and left versus right, my team versus your team, the whole tribalism thing. And I get it. People are loving this shit because they're looking, at least now, especially the people on the right, they're like, oh, we're doing good now, right? Oh, yeah. But once again, make no mistake about it, folks. Tyrants come from both sides of the political divide. The only thing that's going to keep that stuff at bay is the philosophical ideas and the fundamental principles that only come and are only predominantly being espoused by those who come about things or come at things from the philosophical bend or the philosophical mind set, right? And here's Stefan Molyneux, as this stream is called. He is that philosophical voice in the void. He still exists, but there's a whole lot of people. There's millions or ultimately billions of people out there that probably don't even know about the man, but really should learn who he is and the kind of ideas he espouses, right? But yet he's still stuck in this void, which once again, I mean, it's a great void and there's some really great people over there. I'm over there quite often myself. But once again, there's a whole world out there that is not privy to this kind of information or this kind of knowledge. And that, to me, that's the key. Just like I've said so many times, and just like my phrase that I coined, right, which is true liberty requires evolution of the mind, not revolutions, right? And that is such a true statement. And once again, pat myself on the back for coming up with it, right? But that's the kind of thing, and that's where I'm going at it today. But anyways, I'm just going to get into the chat real quick there. And thanks for you folks that have joined the stream already. Hope everything's going good in terms of my volume and everything. Yeah, I think everything seems to be doing okay so far. Anyways, let's just pop back into the stream here. Hey, David, what's going on, man? Hi. Hey, man, what's up, David, buddy? Thanks for joining the stream, man. Hey, Ian Myers. Yeah, right on. Thanks for joining the stream, Ian. Really good to see you, man. Really, well, I guess I can't see it. Well, I can your profile picture at least. But yeah, thanks for joining the stream. And once again, you folks, I really want to hear your thoughts on this particular issue, because once again, it's not just about me at the end of the day, right? It's about everyone. Like, this is the beautiful thing about the market of ideas, or the marketplace of conversation and dialogue. You know, even if it's done in chat form on your end and verbal form in my end, at the very least, like I said, I love interacting and engaging with you folks when it comes to especially big topics and subject matter like this. Now, as you folks know, I predominantly like to talk about ideas, right? Events, less and less about people, because that's more about gossiping. But this, even though we are kind of discussing a person, Stefan Molyneux, it's really about the ideas that he brings to the table at the end of the day. So it's kind of a little bit of both there, right? Anyways, thanks for joining the stream, Ian Myers. GTO mama, what's up, mama? GTO, nice. Benedetto, right on. Thanks for joining the stream as well, GTO mama. Oh, I like that. Liberty Plus TV. I like that. I like the name of that. Molyneux turned me from a communist to a libertarian. Hey, excellent. And thanks for joining the stream, by the way, Liberty Plus TV. Well, I mean, the man, I think back even to this day, and I learned about Stefan Molyneux he was one of the very first people, like, especially after even learning about Ron Paul stuff. Ron Paul, Stefan Molyneux, right off the top of my head, three people that had the most influence over my thought processes in terms of the world around me and understanding things. I got to tell you, Ron Paul, right? Stefan Molyneux. And another one I got to tell you, folks, is Lars Rose. Lars Rose, I get another thing, like I say, not only his books, but, you know, the Jones Plantation, right? The Tiny Dot, all of those things, the videos that he did are just so amazing, and how well they perform in terms of educating, informing in such a almost seemingly subtle way, but very good and right on point. But yeah, Stefan Molyneux, the story of your enslavement, like, to this day, it's still, I place it like right up there with, you know, the Undeniable Truth by Lars Rose, right? The Complete and Undeniable Truth by Lars Rose, and then the Stefan Molyneux, The Story of Your Enslavement. Between the two, it's like both of them were just exceptionally well done in terms of giving people, you know, a good grounded concept of or idea of what, not just in terms of history, but how humans evolved and the whole thing, and what the state represents, what's going on, what's our place in society, understanding, you know, the whole concept of what freedom even means. That's the thing. Very few people, and to this day, I talk to adults on a regular basis, as you folks know, not just online, but in my personal life and at work and stuff. And I'm constantly surprised, although I should be at this time, how many people there are, full-grown adults, right, that still have no clue what it means to be a free human being. And like I say, that's the area where only a philosopher, only the philosophically minded and inquisitive and principled are going to get you to that kind of knowledge, right? Your political pundits, right? Your armchair quarterbacks, and even your constitutional lawyers, or those who speak legalese, none of them, they all pale in comparison, and they have no capacity. And I've been waiting, not like I got anything against him, not like I got anything against Bruce Party. The man is great. I suggest, if you just listen to some of the other things he says, I believe in his heart and in his mind, he actually understands these philosophical concepts. I believe so. But he's just seemingly unwilling, for the most part, to show that he's willing to think critically and outside the box, when he's placed in the subjective realm that he finds himself in, which is, surrounded by a bunch of statists, right? I suppose it's really hard, and he understands and recognizes this. It's really hard to, it's like being in the Catholic Church and walking up and saying, yeah, I don't believe in God, right? It's like, okay, but you're gonna find yourself with real problems, even if you can prove conclusively, right, that there is no such thing as God. Even if you could do that somehow, well, you're surrounded by people who are believers. Same with statists, same crap, different pile, right? Now, anyways, like I say, I just, before I continue on, I did actually want to show this because I do recommend that you folks check this out. So just before I continue on with the Stefan Molyneux, I do recommend this, and you'll kind of get what I'm saying as you're listening along, because I'm sure you folks got the same kind of mindset where you think about these things more critically too. So this is it. So this is, like I say, so this is the National Citizen Inquiry, Canada's response to COVID-19. This was a private one set up. It wasn't the government funded one, right? This was a private one. So here it is. This was done as, it's quite an old, obviously, video. It's done back in March 30th, 2023, Dr. Bruce Party. But yeah, like I say, I definitely recommend you check it out, because he's basically replying to questions and pointing out the kind of constitutional aspects and the legalese, and suggesting that, because the government, the Supreme Court, right, the legislature, and how they interpret the Bill of Rights, and the fact that the Bill of Rights gave them this clause where it's like, yeah, you have inherent and inalienable rights, but we somehow give ourselves permission to override or deny those inherent and inalienable rights, which is, it's all just, it's just the kind of shit that just mad confusion is made out of, right? Which is why, like, even people like Bruce Party has to, his mind's going like 100 miles an hour, just trying to figure out, how do I explain this shit? Well, this is the problem, Bruce. That's always going to be your problem if you try to explain things from the legal perspective as it pertains to how governments write and interpret laws, right? If you use their rhetoric and their language, well, yeah, you're going to fail miserably in terms of genuinely defending our inherent and inalienable rights and freedoms. And that's why it's so important to be forceful in your advocation of inherent and inalienable. The government does not give you rights. The government does not have any authority whatsoever to dictate, micromanage, or control every aspect of your social and economic life. That, a matter of fact, and as you folks have heard me say in the past too, right? And this is just a genuinely true, 100% objective statement that very few people other than you or I that understand this, or a few, whatever many people on this planet, is actually, there is no such thing as legitimate government. Government, by its very definition, by its very nature, by what it does, by its actions, its deeds, and even its rhetoric, is wholly and utterly illegitimate. Not going to waste a whole lot of time pointing out the fact that, yeah, I don't have any legal or moral or any kind of authority to dictate, control, or micromanage my neighbor, right? Or to steal any portion or plunder any portion of their income without their express implied permission. And because I don't have it, obviously I can't delegate an authority that I don't have. It really is that simple. Now, it takes a lot more, obviously, to get to the point where you understand things as well as I do. But once again, there's a lot of people who are being left way, way, way back. So far back, you need a telescope or at least binoculars to see them at this point in time. And it's about time. And those are the people, the large silent majority, or the people who are fence sitters, or just, listening to people on the left and the right. These are the people that need to hear these kind of fundamental truths. Right? I'm sure they're great. And it's awesome to hear about Team Red is now, we're poning Team Blue, let's say, right? So whatever, I guess, right? If your team is Team Red, for us libertarians, like, well, actually, you know what? I think both teams, in terms of politics, suck, because they're completely unwilling to tell the truth, and they're always willing, seemingly endlessly, to go against anything that remotely resembles ethics or universally consistent morals. Anyways, let me just jump back in here, see if you folks got any more comments. Oh, hey, what's going on? Hey, Darren CH442. I got to stay closer to my mic here. That's right, too. Let me move over just a bit so I don't get too far. Okay, so I'm a here right on Darren Chica. Bow 442. Yes, Cutlass. Right on. Thanks for joining the stream, Darren. And once again, like I say, I'm asking for all of your folks' input and your opinions or perspective as it pertains to Stefan Molyneux, right? The philosophical voice in the void. Do you think he should be brought back? Well, I mean, he's already, his account has already been reinstated on X, but do you think he should come back? Right? Because I heard him talking yesterday in one of his most recent podcasts about this particular issue. And he's so right. There's been very few people, if any, although I'm sure there has been a few, right, who have been out there staunchly advocating for, or at least periodically. Now, I'll admit, give myself a pat on the back. I've done it a couple of times, advocating for him to come back and to well, I say he should do what he should do best, what he wants to do and what he does best. But once again, I personally think, and I'm not even saying about delving into politics, but once again, bringing the philosophical ideas and principles to the forefront and to the stage, right? To the big stage. Because like I say, that's where the man shines. I mean, not only, the libertarian ethics and principles, but, peaceful parenting. I mean, how important is peaceful parenting in this modern world we live in? Huge, right? So this is that voice in the void that I say, yeah, it needs to be brought center stage. And, maybe he will, right? Maybe he'll make that choice because he now has the option, thanks to Elon Musk, not just reinstating him on X, but being a staunch advocate of freedom of speech. So, we have that option now. It is a potential to have that voice in the void brought to the center stage. And I, for one, would love to see it happen. And, the more of us that take the time of our day, even if it's just a small portion of time, to advocate for him to come back and to show your support and love for the guy, I think that maybe that could be a potential. And it would really, I think it would be a game changer as well. Alex Jones will bring entertainment to the platform, no doubt. And there's lots of others will bring entertainment to the platform. And even people with some decent ideas themselves, right? Or at least well-articulated pushback against some of the status quo in the current establishment. For sure, 100%. Great guys for that stuff, and gals. But once again, most of them pale in comparison in terms of bringing the kind of philosophical knowledge and ideas to the table or to the forefront, like a man like Stefan Molyneux can. But yeah, just like I say, just offer up your thoughts down in the chat there. I'm just going to move on to the next one here. If our right can be at the whim of the government, suspended or ignored, then we don't have rights but privileges. The truckers' convoy showed how they can be easily weaponized against the people. So you're bang on, Ian Myers. Dead right you are there, 100%. And this is the problem, right? That could have never happened. These mandates, the lockdowns, right? The vaccine passport, the Emergencies Act, right? Stifling freedom of speech, Bill C11, C18. I mean, it just goes on forever. All this climate change, all of these things would never be able to see the light of day if the majority, or even just the plurality, or at least a sizable minority of the Canadian population or population in any country actually understood philosophically and fundamentally what it is to be a free human being. If people actually had that understanding intrinsically, the kind of things that are taking place today would not be taking place. Oh, actually, that reminds me, before I continue on, I just remembered about the whole, not sure if you folks seen this. Let me bring this up, actually. I had totally forgot about that, but I'm going to get to it here. Just one sec here. So I got to go to my profile. It was probably on a reply. Yeah, you wait till you folks see this one. It's good. It's good. It is good. Where? Oh, wait. Oh, there it is. Okay, there he is. Shout out to Tim Owen. He shared that what was it, this morning or yesterday? 12:08 p.m. The 8th. Oh, so it was actually a couple of days ago, but I only seen it yesterday. Oh, no, it was the 9th, so it was yesterday. And I shared it, of course. But yeah, this is great. And you folks know this. I mean, the guy is the epitome of these central planning elitists, these collectivists, right? And they're their wishes and whims to take over and control the entire world, right? Basically by, edict or fiat. But they want to penetrate the cabinets, right? So they know that they need government. Government is how these, actually, let me just read this for you here. Let me bring it onto the stream here first, actually. There we go. Yeah, so Klaus Schwab, Klaus names his enemy, libertarianism. So yeah, let me just read my reply in here to Tim. Anyways, what Klaus and all other central planning collectivists truly fear is a world of people who no longer believe in rulers. Governments are the means to their end. Libertarian ideas have the power to set the masses free. And I mean, how true is that? But yeah, so this guy himself, he's a nobody. But this is the problem with these people that are, that would just be some elitist, very rich elitist piece of shit, nobody with some kind of dementia or utopian mindset or spewing a bunch of dystopian rhetoric, right? That's all they would be without the power of the state, without government as the tool or the means to their end that they use, right? But listen to this guy. I thought this was quite funny. So let me just put this on play here.
System movement. What we are seeing is a revolution against the system. So fixing the present system is not enough. Now there is, of course, a anti-system, which is called Libertarianism, which means to tear down everything which creates some kind of influence of government into private lives. It's dismantling the system movement. What we are seeing is a revolution against the system. So fix.
Now, I don't know. Listen, I will just say this. I should have pointed this out before I even started playing it. Hey, I don't know, and it's getting harder and harder these days to tell if this was manipulated, right, in any way, right? What do they call them? Deepfakes. And if it is, hey, whatever. Because it wouldn't really matter at the end of the day, because the guy is a maniacal central planning elitist anyway. So whether even this was real or not, what he's fundamentally trying to do and his ilk are trying to do is very much real, right? Oh, so I did take it off already. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we're good. We're good. So yeah, Klaus is not a big fan of libertarians. I think that's great, personally. Okay, so let me close that back up. Oh, actually, yeah, let me just double check and make sure so I can close up my these windows that I have open, because I just want to make sure everything's working. Ooh. There we go. There we go. Yeah. Okay. So we're doing good over on the old YouTube. So that's good. All right. Just checking once again there, folks. Make sure everything's working on this end. Okay. Close that bad boy up. And now we're just going to check on the Rumble. Got to make sure Rumble's working. Oh yeah. It looks like we got, I'll say something in the chat. Welcome to the live stream. Share your thoughts in the chat. Share your thoughts in the chat, folks. Come on over there. I see you. I see there's a bunch of you watching over there on Rumble, so don't be shy. Don't be shy. Put your thoughts in there. Once again, it's all about all of our perspective at the end of the day, right? Let's get some thoughts on that. But yeah, let me move on here. If people are willing to take the abuse, yeah. Red versus blue equals division as intended. Exactly. GTO Mama is so true. It is true. It's got to be. I mean, it has to be, right? It has to be. Stefan is a much needed voice. Agree with him or not. 100%. Viracoca. Thank you. I think that's right. Coca, right? Vera Coca, thank you very much for joining the live stream. Really appreciate that. Oh, by the way, this is being live streamed to X too. And it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world for me to see a few actual people watching it in real time on X. I do see that I get views on it, but that could very well just people that have scrolled through, right? I don't know what it takes to get registered as a view over on X, but actually let me go check on now that I think about that. I'm going to check. Actually, I better pause the Rumble thing just in case. I'm going to go on my profile because I forgot to do that again. I'm going to share that right now just so that people do know that I'm live. Okay. Okay. Live. Share your thoughts. In a reply. Should Stefan come back on X? Yeah, there we go. Should Stefan come back on X? Yeah, okay. Good. All right, so I'm posting that there. See if we can't get a little bit of attention over on the old X platform there too. Once again, I do realize that not many people are aware of the whole live streaming thing that takes place on X. It is a new thing, and people are so familiar and accustomed to watching YouTube or Rumble. Yeah, Rumble. Rumble's awesome. Gotta love Rumble. Anyways, going to jump back in, get some more comments here, folks. Oh, there we go. There we go. Oh, yes. So true. So true. Stefan needs to do the Libertarian right-wing podcast circuit. That would be great. That would be great, actually. Yeah. I get that he's just doing his own thing. And after the massive amount of letdown, disappointment, and the whole canceling thing, I can kind of see the reasoning behind him turning more inward and more focused on the philosophical things and doing his own thing. I can kind of understand that. I totally do, actually. But I personally, I wish that he would kind of step out just a little bit, out of that comfort zone. I get it. It's a good place to be at times. Hey, I've taken time off myself, right? Sometimes you just got to do what's got to be done for you, right? Because just like in a plane, I'm no good to know if I don't put my own oxygen mask on first, right? Right? If I'm not taking care of myself and put myself in a good mindset and doing the things that benefits me, right? And the people that surround me, then what good am I to anyone else? So I totally get that. But I think enough time has transpired. I think enough things have shifted and changed. People's attitudes, mindset, the whole Discord thing seems to have shifted around enough that, yes, I firmly believe I'm in total agreement with you that this probably seems like it would be an appropriate time for Stefan Molyneux to kind of step back into the limelight and go on some of these whether they're right wing or what was the other one you said? Right wing or yeah, of course, or libertarian podcast circuit. Matter of fact, I'd love for him to come on mine first. Right? I'd go on his for that matter. Doesn't matter, right? But yeah, that would be great. Yeah, maybe a couple debates. Excellent. Yeah, he's actually really good at debates. Actually, that's one thing I'll say. He's really good at debates, and that would be something. I think that would be, like I say, with all that's taken place, like. It just seems like it's the right time, right? The right time, the correct time. But yeah, thanks for once again offering your thoughts there, Liberty Plus TV. Stefan was taken out early by YouTube and should be allowed to speak his thoughts, especially now. Oh, I agree, Darren. Yeah, it's nuts. And especially the fact that not only did they take him out, right? Or demonetize. It'd be one thing if they had done what they did to so many others where they just demonetize them. But the fact that they got rid of his entire account, basically just And I mean, the thousands and thousands and thousands of videos that people like myself, and I'm sure even people like yourself, the countless, I don't know how many people around the world that listen to that man, all the podcasts and the philosophical journeys that he took us on, the great information, right? Like just an amazing amount of stuff that he brought to the equation, and just gone like that from YouTube. I mean, I know if it was still available, although I think I might have some of that backed up. I believe I downloaded a bunch of that many years ago. Now I'd have to go back and try to find whatever my backup drives they're on. But it was so nice to be able to have at your disposal anytime you want to go to his channel. And especially when he first started out, when he's driving in his car, when he was basically introducing us to philosophy and all the great philosophers in the past, and all the knowledge that they brought to bear and how he interpreted their thought and their knowledge. Like I say, it was great. I personally, I loved that philosophical journey that he took me on over the course of all those years. And it's a sad thing to not have it so easily at our disposal. Although I will say this, he does have, like I say, he has, I would suggest, all that stuff uploaded to free domain. So once again, it's there. He's there. He does exist. It does seem like he's in a void because once again, he's in an area that's outside the main stage. But make no mistake about it, just like what I used to tell people, and it used to infuriate and frustrate me too, is like, listen, I'm right here. Even if YouTube is not recommending my videos or my live streams to you, I'm just right here. All you got to go do is just go to Canadian Libertarian YouTube channel. You'll find all this stuff for any of my social media pages. And Stefan Molyneux has gone on more than one rant along those lines as well. And once again, I share his frustration for the fact that it's seemingly so difficult to get people to want to gravitate to that kind of knowledge. But that's the thing. We are there. We are familiar of it. We're aware of it. But like I said, there's so many others who aren't, which is why, okay, I'm doing my job right now because I'm not going to rely on anyone else. So I'm taking the personal responsibility. I'm going to do that. And I don't have the biggest audience, but I do see, at least from time to time, I do have some new viewers and participants in the chat. People like, I think, Liberty Plus TV even. Of course, he already knows about Stefan Molyneux. But once again, I'm looking for anybody that will listen to my voice and promote Stefan Molyneux and entice others to look at his content. And like I say, to get him back on X. That would be a great thing, to have that voice of the void brought to the center stage. Yeah, a new round of interviews. Yeah, that would be great, right? That would be great. Hey, Corey W., nice to see you in the chat. Thank you for joining. Really appreciate that. Thanks for joining the chat. Really appreciate that. Kind of rhyming. Never bow to any man, to earthly creature will have. Never bow to any man. No earthly creature will have me kiss their ring. The system will continue to place its boots on the throat and squeeze us for everything. Never give them an inch. So true. Well said, Corey W. And I'm definitely an agreement in terms of never bow to any man. No earthly creature will have me kiss the ring. I am so on board with that. Yeah, there's not a human being. And you know what? What that tells me is you at least have self-esteem, self-worth, right? And are obviously self-aware. The people who think like that, I have mad respect for, because I've had to work through that and gain that kind of stuff for myself, right? The people who are the antithesis of that, or fight us on it all the time, maybe some of them, yeah, they probably could deserve some scorn or to be loathed. But let's always keep in the back of our mind that a lot of these people, they're just very heavily indoctrinated, going through massive cognitive dissonance, right? And they're just scared to have their entire worldview rocked to the core, right? Who knows who you're talking to at any particular time and where they fall on that spectrum in terms of how much they understand, how much they're willing to understand. So a little patience with some people, right? And the big old F you to others. But yeah, it's tough. But yeah. And even when it comes to personalities, like as much as I appreciate Stefan Molyneux and all that he brings to the table, all the knowledge, is I'm also not big into the cult of personality. I respect the man for his ideas, right? I don't worship the man. I don't expect anyone else to worship the man. I don't think any human being should be placed on any pedestal to the point where they're on level or on par with deities or gods, right? And that's seemingly what the left and the right are doing these days. But that's the thing about us who are philosophically minded and grounded, is I believe that much knowledge and to have that much of a principle mindset and to be that grounded, I firmly believe that comes part and parcel with humility. I mean, I know that's for sure in terms of me, and I've heard from others as well, is it's funny. Actually, I've gained a tremendous amount more knowledge over the last 12 years or so, but I feel more humble today than I did when I was much, much less knowledgeable 12 years ago, right? It's a humbling experience because it's that old saying, that old phrase, what is it? The more I know, the more I realize I don't know, kind of deal, right? And that is so true because my mind has been expanded greatly and a whole new world, a whole new way of thinking. So much has been opened up to me that, yes, I genuinely feel, maybe in some ways a little bit smaller because of that, but at the same time, because I possess this knowledge that so few people other, it's a constant balancing act because it gives me self-confidence, but it's a fine balance, isn't it? You kind of get both. You kind of the best of both worlds. If you can balance that properly, is you get humility, but a lot of self-esteem as well. So if you're really good and you've got some self-awareness and some good people around you, and you can balance that, well, that puts you head and shoulders above so many other people and so many of your other peers. But yeah, right on. What are people's thoughts on the new China flu? Oh, is there another? I think we're being set up again for more lockdowns. Oh, no. I'm not sure what that one is. I don't even think I've heard about the new Chinese flu, although I did have an article that I had to close down because my Windows, I just had too many tabs open, where CBC had something about what COVID-19, the flu, like some triple whammy. I don't know what it is. I thought it was usually it's was it RSV, the flu, and COVID, the triple demic, or I don't know. I've kind of moved on quite a ways from the whole COVID thing, although I recognize there are still people out there that are touting that, and no doubt would put us in another lockdown if they had the chance or the opportunity. Make no mistake about it. Those people still exist. And I firmly believe the only reason, if that doesn't come to fruition, the only reason why that is because they realize that they've already woken a lot of people to understand freedom and liberty and wanting to learn even more about it. And I think at this point in time, they're a little bit fearful that they might awaken even more. So I don't know. That's just my thoughts on it. The second election variant, my thoughts. The second election variant. Yeah, that's a good one. Shit, that's funny. Hold on here. Let me see. Perhaps Stefan will join Rebel or True North. Whatever happened to Frank Vaughn? Frank's still around. I haven't had much of an interaction with him. Me and Frank had a bit of a falling out there, little butting of heads. That's what happens when you get a bunch of strong-willed individuals, right? Especially ones that I think at the time, I think even both of us were maybe coming about things maybe with a little bit more ego involved. I'll even claim some guilt on that one myself, right? But I don't know. Not hating on the guy, just haven't been really hearing much lately. Oh, that's the thing. If you don't, that's the thing, folks. If you don't interact or engage with people like that, then they fall off of your watch list and your recommendations, which is exactly and precisely what has happened to me over the years. People, might have got mad at me for a bit and they stayed away because, they were, upset at something I said or whatever. And, maybe now they might even be more prone to being accepting of some of the things I say. But now I'm just a past thought that they no longer think about anymore, right? So this is what happens. Now I'm just part of the obscurity. Now I'm just a voice in the void for a lot of these people as well, right? Okay, where are we at here now? But yeah, Rebel or True North. Yeah, that would be great. Or like Post Millennial, or any one of them, anyone, sure. Or hey, Canadian Libertarian for that. Of course. No, I recognize. Yeah, I know my audience is pretty small, right? I get that. Not like I have a big platform for the guy to use. Yeah. right? And really, at the end of the day, it truly is. My thing is, it's not about me, anyways. It's about getting, like I say, it's about getting these ideas out to the masses, and that's the thing. No selfishness involved in that. I just genuinely want the world to be a better place. Well, I guess there's a little selfishness in that because I need to function in a decent world myself and my kids and the rest of my family. So yeah, I guess there is some selfish reasons, but not the kind of selfishness that some others may accuse me of. Because I want it for myself and everyone else as well, right? Or at least everyone who deserves it. The BS2 variant. Right. Right on. My chat box disappeared after my last comment. I had to leave and come back in to regain it. Really? I don't know. Like I say, there's some strange stuff that happens, and I just don't know anymore. I just kind of do my thing regardless. But sorry about that. GTO Mama. Hopefully everything's okay for you now. Stefan did an amazing presentation on the UN Migrant Pact years ago. Yes, that was great. Yes, I remember that. He went to the European Parliament, right? Yes, I remember that. He's done a lot of amazing things over the years. I mean, the books he's written. Actually, I have okay, I won't bother trying because I got a lot of books back here, but I actually have in physical copy. In addition to I have, I think, almost all of his books downloaded in PDF form. But yeah, to support the man financially, because he gives away all of those things, all of those amazing resources. He gives them away all for free, right? Of course, with the expectation that people will be generous and voluntarily donate to his platform, right? And which I have, and I definitely appreciate it. But once again, I also support him by actually buying a physical copy of his book. Well, I got one or two of them, and I'll definitely pick up more going forward for sure. I'm moving away from the drama, politics, and TV news. Oh, wait. I'm moving away from the drama of politics and TV news, fear, and it's been peaceful. I hear you, David. That's so true. And this is one of those things where, once again, it's a balancing act where we don't want to go from one extreme to another, right? And I'll even admit myself, I have this habit at times of going from one to the other. Periodically, I'm an all or nothing kind of a guy at times, although I've worked on that. I've gotten much better over the years. But yeah, I don't know, just try to find some middle ground, right? Where you're still at least getting some useful information, at least to know what's going on out there, right? You don't want to be completely ignorant to what's going on, what's transpiring, but not to the point where it's inundating you to the point where it makes you miserable or self-loathing or have some kind of mental anguish, and it's destructive to your own, not just mental health, but happiness and in your pursuit of a meaningful life, right? So for sure, yeah, I'm the same way. I always try my best. Well, in particular, in recent years, I try my best to make sure, I got to prioritize keeping this thing, doing pretty good, right? Because I'm going to rely on this thing for quite some time going forward, and I want it to be in great health. Right? And I would suggest that you're probably the same way, David. And good for you, man. Good for you. Lauren. Oh, you mean Southern, probably, right? Not Sutherland. I think you mean Lauren Southern. If you're talking about Lauren Southern, actually, I haven't watched one. It's been not that long, actually. I've watched a bunch of her videos in recent times. I think it's probably been at least a month or so since I've seen one, but maybe I'll just actively search out her channel and some of her social media platforms just to see how she is doing. But yeah, she was doing good there for a while. But yeah, I remember that one too. She and Stefan did a documentary in New Zealand some time ago. Yeah, that was great. But yeah, it's Lauren Southern. But yeah, that was a good one, actually. Well, like I say, so much that the man has done. New Zealand COVID data whistleblower arrested. Oh, really? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Actually, I remember something about that. Yeah. That's the thing, right? How dare anyone speak up or speak out? This is what's taking place today. And like I say, people sit back and just tacitly allow these things to take place because they're not in the right mind space. They don't have the right ideas roaming around in that cranium, which is why, like I say, people like Stefan Molyneux are so important. The philosophers are literally what's missing in action at this point in time. And Stefan Molyneux is at the top when you're talking about philosophers, right? Looking for truth, no matter what it may be, biblically and historically, has nearly put me on my own island. But honestly, I'm so sick of the lies. So be it, right? Well, okay, but I hear you. But here's the thing. Nearly put me on my own island. Well, that's the thing. I definitely would not. I don't know. I guess to each their own on that. I'm not a big fan of just having to go at things completely and utterly alone. Once again, to each their own. Just me spitballing, thinking out loud. But I would definitely recommend or suggest you have at least one or two like-minded people in your life, even if they're just there, at arm's reach, or can be there periodically when you need someone to lend their ear, right? Something like that, or to to just go out and do things with, to have some enjoyment in your physical space, kind of things like that. But yeah, I hear you. I mean, it's the thing when the world gets so crazy. It is, like I say, I know even myself. I felt the pull many times, right? It's almost like a black hole. Like I just want to get away from that shit. When things get so crazy, it's like, yeah. Now let me just retreat off into my own. But then I think sometimes, like, well, yeah. And like I say, at the end of the day, if it means keeping my sanity and a clear mind, yes, I'll do it. But not forever. And I would never want to put myself in that thing where I've just kind of walked away entirely. No, I'm still here to fight. And I'm not advocating or suggesting anyone else has to put themselves through the kind of things that I've possibly put myself through over the years. Although, like I say, I don't feel like I'm putting myself through as much as I once did, because I've put myself in a much better mindset. And once again, I'm very fortunate in that I've got a lot of really good people around me. And I hope the rest of you folks, like I say, at least have one or two good people around you as well, because that can make all the difference in the world. That would be awesome. Canadian Libertarian with some smaller Canadian podcasters like Frank, Stefan, Mark from Can Polly, Can Prepper, etc. That would, like I say, and yeah, actually, I'm gonna start reaching the old tentacles out here soon. Yeah, I think I should do that. Yeah, probably is even myself start stepping up and reaching out to some of these other people and having some meaningful conversations and dialogue. Because I know that's another thing. I know a lot of folks that watch these kind of podcasts, long form. I understand, makes sense, because I even myself like when you see multiple people up there on stage or conversing back and forth, because you get multiple perspectives and ideas and opinions and all that. So yeah, I think I'll probably step up the plate even myself and do a lot more interviews and collaborations. It seems like a wise suggestion, and thank you for doing so, Darren. That would be great. Some smaller Canadian podcasters, yeah. Although I'm a pretty small one too there, but that's all good. Thank you very much, though, for the compliment. Really appreciate that. Keeping knowledge of what's going on is still near impossible to ignore. That's true. That is true. Yeah, it's pretty hard. All in all the time. That's one of my feral Gen X traits. Yeah, I know. It's balls to the wall or nothing. I always used to joke around back in the day, especially in my younger years, and when I was really, really heavy into the race and all things machinery, right, was I've got two speeds, fast and stop, basically. There doesn't seem to be anywhere in between. It's balls to the wall or I'm just parked and idling. Right? I don't know what it is, but yeah. But once again, we have free will. We all have access to lots of knowledge, even things in understand our own psychology and how our minds work. So yeah, I can't really use that anymore, because now I realize that, hey, I can work to tweak things. Sure, I'm an old dog, and maybe the brand new tricks are a little bit harder to learn, but hey, if we put enough work and effort in it, I've actually proven to myself, even at the old age when I started doing this, what was I in my early 40s, right around 40 years old or somewhere around there. And that's still fairly old, but I've learned some new tricks and I've learned new ways to adopt and think about things. So yeah, we all have that potential within us, right? Okay, where are we at now? Oh, but yeah. Yeah. But yeah, so yeah, I'm like I say, and I try my best to moderate. I find I'm much better at moderating things these days than I used to be. And once again, I'm still a work in progress. I Googled it, and yes, reach out Bennett through your network, brother. All right, Lauren Sutherland. Did she? Oh, she might have got married. Did she? Oh, wait, I never thought of that. Although it was always Southern before. But yeah, I don't know. You might be right there, Darren. I'm not sure, but her name, if it's that blonde girl, yeah, it was the same one, but it used to be Lauren Southern, but she might have got married. So I'm not sure, regardless of the last name. But yeah, right on. I don't become a hermit. I'm just saying most people don't care about knowing the truth when today it's pretty much public. I know. Well, that's true. That's true. Most people for sure. But it's those few, right? So you're saying exactly and precisely it's most people. But the ones that do, like I say, the ones that I've found, well, people like yourself, right? So that's what I mean. Don't sell your own self even short. Think of how, like to me, I hold all of you folks in very high regard because you show me on a regular basis, right? Every time I have these live streams, how exceptional to the norm that you truly are. And I am madly appreciative of people who have, because of all the crap we've all had to go through, we're all humans, we've all had to go through some crap, but to get to the point where you're in that kind of mindset where you are today, where you're thinking so critically about what it is to be a free human being, and doing that kind of thing and thinking philosophically and principled. I'm so appreciative of that. Like I say, I'll take one of you people over, 10,000 people who would just, I could claim to be associates or friends, but are the kind of people that would turn around and stab me in the back for some political reason or means, right? Or because they don't align with my way of thinking or something. Like I say, at least at the very least with people like us, like I say, I could picture a community of people like us. I can visualize it in my head where we're so genuinely diverse. I mean, libertarians, if there's one thing for certain, which is why people kind of joke around by saying, trying to get libertarians together is like trying to herd cats, right? Is because libertarians are very staunchly independent, right? And very diverse in terms of who they are as a person and the things that interest them and what they do in their life and stuff. So, but the one thing that we all share in common, this is the beautiful thing, and this is how you create, this is how a proper community or any kind of society should be structured is, hey, we all agree on some very baseline fundamental rules of engagement, whether we're talking socially or economically, right? Is the non-aggression principle, self-ownership, and property rights. Because we all make those fundamental principles front and center, we could all be around each other and be so wide-ranging and varied in so many ways, but still live in a prosperous and peaceful society by sheer fact that we all are willing to adhere to the fundamental principles of respecting each other's sovereignty and individual liberty, right? I mean, that's the recipe for success. That is the recipe going forward. And just like I've said so many times in the past, libertarians, we are the future. Well, if liberty is going to flourish in any way, or if it's going to thrive, we are the future. And the ones who are leading the charge are the philosophically minded, right? So let's like I say, let's bring that voice in the void, Stefan Molyneux, the biggest philosophical voice, the most prominent libertarian, or as he would even call himself, anarchist. Let's bring him to the forefront. Let's entice him to get back on X and engage. Because I tell you, this would be great. I'm hearing so many other people. I'm thinking about all these other people that are talking and discussing these things and thinking, boy, you could really use Stefan Molyneux to engage in this particular dialogue right now. I'm sure even some of these very smart and astute individuals would find themselves with their ears very much perked to listen to the kind of stuff that people like Stefan Molyneux has to say. All right. Like Jesus said, it's a narrow path and few there be. Exactly. Right? That's the thing. And that's what emboldens me to think that we're definitely on the, I don't need the majority. I don't need to be the most popular person on the planet. All I need is to know with certainty that my ideas, the concepts, the philosophy, the principles, right, the ethics are all grounded and based on universally consistent principles, right? Things that, like I say, will yield great dividends for us all. As long as that's a reality, like I say, to me, the sky truly is the limit. And I want us to not just get to that limit, but to bust through it and see what else is beyond that. Exactly. We all go through crap, rise above or play victim. Yeah. Yeah. Well said, GTO Mama. Well said. Yes, we've all been through crap. Life is but a series of choices. Choose wisely. So true. True. Wise words indeed. Anyways, I'm probably not going to keep this live stream going on too long. We're right around the hour mark. And tell you the truth, folks, because I'm not really going to cover anything else in the stream, although I will just bring this up. Yeah, just for you folks that are, because I'm still very much actively involved in terms of learning more about the whole Tamara Leach and Chris Barber trial that now has been postponed until 2024. But I'm still a big fan and supporter of what the truckers did, and I still want to keep my pulse and or learn more and more about that whole movement and even some of the stuff that maybe information I wasn't privy to before. So I'll just point this out. Let me bring this up. I plan on picking up a copy of this. So this is apparently a new book. So I already got Andrew Lawton's book, Freedom Convoy. That's a good book for sure. And I haven't got what's that other guy's name? I've got it in my wish list. I still plan on picking up. I can't think of that guy's name right off the top of my head right now. Dichter. Oh yeah, I think it's BJ Dichter, right? I think it's BJ Dichter that wrote another book. Like I say, I plan on picking that one up as well. And then there's this one apparently that has just come out quite recently. This is called 210 degrees Celsius, 16 ways the truckers ignited Canada for the long haul. I'll just read a little bit here. Actually, let me just a little bit bigger. And this is the book. The author is Barry W. Busey. From late January to mid-February 2022, the eyes of Canada and indeed the world were on Ottawa, Ontario, as the Trucker Freedom Convoy converged from all parts of the nation. Oh, sorry. And indeed the world were on Ottawa, Ontario, as the Trucker Freedom Convoy converged from all parts of the nation. They were there to tell Prime Minister Trudeau that enough was enough, and they were not going to give in to his politicized mandate that required all cross-border truckers to receive the COVID-19 vaccine. Their journey caught the imagination of a nation tired of lockdowns, mandates, and government overreach. Hailed by many as heroes and by the government and government-sponsored media as terrorists and a fringe minority with unacceptable views, the truckers took an historic stand for freedom on Canadian soil. In 210 degrees Celsius, 16 ways the truckers ignited Canada for the long haul, lawyer Barry W. Busey chronicles the events of the protest, including the invocation of the Emergencies Act, and he highlights the impact the convoy had on Canadians' perception of government, the judiciary, and personal freedom. Replete with eyewitness testimony from the streets of the capital and the sworn testimony given at the Public Order Emergency Commission, this thoughtful, well-researched presentation calls on Canadians to reflect on this peaceful protest and the government's response to COVID-19. The peaceful protest stands as a beacon of how Canadians can stand up to government excess and force changes to government policy. Wherever readers stand on these issues, 210 degrees Celsius, 16 ways the truckers ignited Canada for the long haul, will stimulate conversation, inspire us all to consider what it means to be Canadian and what role government should play in our lives. So I would say towards the end of that one, obviously, my thoughts towards the end of it, right, is no, let's point out and show Canadians that actually government is wholly illegitimate and that everything that the government did was wholly immoral and not just illegitimate, but illegal under anything that would remotely resemble actual fundamental or common laws, right? Or genuine laws, right? Which are supposed to be based on morals. But anyways, but like I say, this is an area once again where, like I say, this is the area. This is actually a perfect example. You'll get lots of great knowledge from this book, of that, no doubt. Lots of facts, lots of information, lots of stats, lots of pushback against government, but not that proper knowledge, not the key knowledge that's absolutely necessary to bring true liberty to fruition in Canada, which is that governments are wholly illegitimate and rulers do not actually have the authority that they claim they do. That's the information that's truly in the void. That's the information that needs the spotlight shine upon it. And that's the information that people like Stefan Molyneux bring to the table in spades. So once again, I advocate for and support Stefan Molyneux coming back to X. And like I say, as has been suggested by others, maybe doing a whirlwind tour of going and being interviewed, whether it's libertarians or some of these new right people or whoever the hell else is willing to actively engage in dialogue or conversation as it pertains to what it is to be a free human being in the 21st century. Anyways, you folks have yourself a great rest of your day and have a good week next week. I'm going to have a bunch of live streams probably lined up for the next little while. Anyways, there might be a little short time frame over the Christmas holidays where I might kind of lay low for a little bit. But other than that, I'm still going to stay hard at it. And I wish you folks all the best in the world. It's Canadian Libertarian.